Although it's sad that the Overwatch 2 beta went down today, we do already know as dedicated Overwatch fans that there's a lot more to come. Although a lot of gamers seem confused on the amount of content eventually coming to Overwatch 2, us dedicated fans know that the first beta was intentionally limited. Maybe a bit of a mistake, but from the devs' point of view, they tend to like to go with a crawl, walk, run approach. Getting reworks, 5v5, new maps, and the whole new Overwatch 2 philosophy in players' hands, they wanted to do that gradually. So we know by beta 2, we should expect a reasonable increase in the amount of content. Just today, Blizzard announced that June 16th, they will share their plan for the months ahead, including the next PvP beta. There's good news and bad news here. The bad news is our access to Overwatch 2 is at least a month away. And I think even longer than that, because this is an announcement of an announcement. On June 16th, it sounds like we're going to finally be getting a content roadmap, but that would imply that beta number 2 comes after this, unless they spring it on that day, but I kind of doubt it. Although many expected the first impression of the Overwatch 2 beta to be bigger and then were disappointed, it's the strategy of the marketing team and Blizzard to ramp up to the release, which means each subsequent beta will be more substantive, have more substance, more content than the last one. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for them. Because despite a lot of dedicated players like myself being very optimistic and happy, and I just want to keep playing Overwatch 2 as it is, it's not new enough yet for the general player base to feel too hyped, or at least a lot of them. And if you think carefully, as the internet has criticized Overwatch 2 for certain things, the devs turned around and, for example, enabled open queue. So if you don't want to have to wait to play the more competitive rule set and just want to try stuff out, you can play open queue. They got feedback that supports weren't strong. Zen gets a new boop ability and extra stats. And you better bet that they're going to take a lot of the public reception of how much they received and start to dial up how much they think they can trickle out to give a better impression the next time. So what could we be getting? If we remember from the previous blog posts, their actual goals with the beta were, of course, stability as always, but balance as well. When controlling variables for the changes they're making, they actually couldn't put more content in because it might be hard to tease out what is causing what result. But I think that sets us up for a big leap of additional content coming beta 2. Because think how crazy it would be to not unveil at least one new character and one feature. They had already said that ranked mode would be getting an overhaul. It was data mined and essentially leaked on accident from BlizzCon Line that they're working on a clan system, which we expect to go BattleNet wide. The workshop would certainly add a lot of value. We didn't have any replays in the first beta. There's a lot of functionality that they could add. But sadly, as we sit and wait, all the Overwatch you can get now is 6v6. Those of you who love it, enjoy it while it lasts. Beginning today is the Overwatch Remix event, Volume 2, which for those of you paying close attention, seems like they're intending for these skin events to fit in between the Overwatch 2 betas so that their fans have something to do. Try out the new hero reworks and content for a few weeks. Then, while they recoup and plan for the next beta, you can unlock some remix skins. And while part of me says the remix skins are, I think we can expect easier content to make, kind of a rehash, I also like them because they look cool, especially when you get a new look at a really old skin. I mean, the game's been out 6 years. So seeing an old skin refreshed, I think is kind of cool anyway. For the first Overwatch League tournament of 2022, there is a Luchador skin for Reaper that you can cash in using your OWL tokens if you've been tuning into the games. And it'll be interesting to see the performance of the Overwatch League now that players can't play Overwatch 2, and the only way you really could get it is watching the pros play. Last up in the news, a bit controversial this one, Activision Blizzard was flaunting King Games' innovative diversity space tool, which they say allows for the character design process to have a tangible way of avoiding tokenism, stereotypes, and exclusion. This got a massive cringe response from the community and even people who work on Overwatch. I had to double check whether this was an actual tweet or fake news, because I couldn't believe that they actually think that this is the opposite of tokenism by giving number attributes to concepts like sexual orientation, culture, ethnicity, gender identity. We're supposed to somehow think that Torb's culture is worth less than Zarya's and Lucio's? Why? But don't worry, Zarya and Lucio's have an equal amount of culture. But fear not, Lucio beats them on ethnicity. But at least we're not being ageist because Torb's a little older, and we get extra body type points because Zarya is a weightlifter. What is this garbage? Melissa Kelly, who was a character artist on Overwatch, tweeted out her discontent with the post. And she says, God, I swear our own company tries so hard to slaughter any goodwill the actual devs who make the game have built. Overwatch doesn't even use this creepy dystopian chart. Our writers have eyes. The artists have eyes. Producers, directors, etc. As far as I know, also all have eyes. You know what drives our diversity? The devs. We have people who work on the game from these cultures. That's it. If this creepy chart was made for the executive team to let us do our thing, that might track. Yeah, it's really weird. It's like a weird post hoc marketing tool to sell shares of Activision, even though this isn't what the developers used in order to create the diversity in the game anyway. Something I've noticed over the years of covering Overwatch is that there often is a knee-jerk pushback against diversity elements within Overwatch, as if they do it just for a marketing stunt. But if you track the development process of how Overwatch was designed as a game and always been from the beginning, it was the goal of the devs to normalize diversity, not market it, right? The Overwatch universe is designed to be a hopeful, optimistic view of the future, which in many ways was just the same thing Star Trek did in its heyday, which also pushed these kinds of boundaries and had the first interracial kiss on television. Overwatch had the first homosexual female lead on the box art of a AAA selling video game franchise. The beautiful thing about Overwatch is the content of the game isn't actually about those things. It's just normalized and exists within the content we like. I don't know what the heck Activision's thinking with this, but I wanted to include it in today's video because I think a lot of people have seen this get floated around, and the developers most certainly have not used it to design characters in the way that Activision is implying they have. I don't know why you would want to imply that, but the devs certainly don't use this type of tokenism when creating characters in the game. Well, guys, that's gonna be it for today's news roundup. Remember to mark your calendars for June 16th to see the next big announcement for Overwatch 2. I fully expect this to feel like the walk section of their typical crawl, walk, run approach to creating content. As you guys know, we hear the criticism that Overwatch 2 is not deserving of the sequel title yet, which is unfortunate that they're continuing to name it that because it's confusing. But I think when it's all said and done and we see what they're working up to, when the final full release comes around and we're integrating the live game with all the new stuff from Overwatch 2, I'm confident we will feel that way. And for that to happen, this next big announcement has to be a substantial boost from what we saw last time. New maps, modes, heroes, and features, some combination of those things will get a substantial increase from what we came to receive from the Beta 1. Overwatch 2 and Beta 2 right around the corner, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it with a like. It really helps us out, lets us know that you're enjoying the content. If you haven't already, click subscribe and the bell icon to actually get notified when our videos come out. It's like I'm sliding right into your DMs. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. We'll see you guys next time.